So I'm here today to share a loving kindness flow for you all. Because we could all use a little more of that for ourselves always, especially during this time of transition and shedding. And the world could really use a lot of loving kindness right now. So thank you for anchoring into this energy of loving kindness and creating this portal together so we can spread that energy throughout the world. Let's begin our practice with our eyes closed. Attuning to our inner world. Noticing how we're showing up today. Noticing how it feels to arrive on the mat. We've already taken this first step. And maybe finding a couple sighing exhales. Releasing what you need to with each breath. Letting the shoulders relax. And I'll invite you to bring the hands somewhere on the body that feels comforting. Giving yourself that loving kindness with maybe an embrace or hands on the heart or your low belly. Maybe they stay on the legs. Anywhere that might feel really loving to hold yourself, to ground into your body. Breathing into the feeling of your own touch. Letting your awareness rest in the spaces of your body that are touching. And we're going to begin our practice with a loving kindness meditation, starting with ourselves. Because when we truly show loving kindness to ourselves, that radiates out around us, throughout our communities, throughout our world. So giving yourself a nice squeeze. And repeating after me. I ask that I may be happy. I ask that I may be well. I ask that I may be at peace. Giving yourself one more squeeze. And then we'll bring the hands in prayer to the heart. Envisioning a bubble of loving kindness energy around your body, emanating from you. And calling to mind someone in your life that maybe needs a little loving kindness. Someone you care about, maybe someone you know well or someone you don't. Picturing their face in your mind. And holding them close to you while you repeat after me. I ask that you may be happy. I ask that you may be at peace. I ask that you be well. I ask that you be at peace. And sealing in that intention with a breath. Sending that loving kindness out to them. And now calling to mind someone in your life that challenges you. Maybe someone in your family or a coworker, someone you don't see eye to eye with, or maybe you've had a recent disagreement with. Feeling the way that this person challenges you, that things don't maybe feel so easy between you. And that's okay, because there's always going to be people in our life that challenge us and that are maybe difficult to love, and they're still deserving of the same loving kindness that we are. So let's hold that person close, envisioning them in our mind's eye, and repeating after me. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be at peace. Sending a big breath filled with loving kindness towards this person. And feeling this energy of loving kindness you've created in your body and radiating out away from you. And beginning to envision the radiance of your loving kindness growing and growing out away from you, filling the space that you're in, growing bigger than the room, bigger than the building, until you can envision your radiant loving kindness encompassing the whole world. Seeing that light spread, touching all peoples and all places. Envisioning it. Envisioning it being felt by the hearts of people all around the globe. And holding this in your mind, in your heart, as you repeat after me. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be at peace. Taking one more big breath of loving kindness throughout the whole world. And feeling that power, that radiance of your loving kindness that exists within and around you in every moment. And keeping our hands together, with our next inhale, let's draw those hands up towards the sky, lengthening the arms. And on our exhale, we'll let those hands fall softly down to our side. Gathering up more loving kindness on our inhale as we bring the hands back up. Pulling that loving kindness into the heart on our exhale, hands returning to prayer. And we'll spread that loving kindness out of our heart, hands back up. Exhaling, hands falling gently down to our side. Let's find 3 more of those. Last one. And the next time those hands come into prayer at the heart, let's bow the head, repeating to yourself, I am loving kindness. And then we'll release our hands, meeting our feet together in front of the body in a butterfly position. And let's find some flaps with our wings. Invitation to envision yourself as this butterfly, fluttering and flapping all around the world, spreading your loving kindness, letting your wings drop that radiant energy down, down and around you. My butterfly's wings are particularly sparkly today. Let's find 2 more breaths with our flaps. Spreading that loving kindness. And slowing our flapping and using the next few breaths to explore any movement that your body might want in this Baddha Konasana. Maybe that's some sways like I'm doing, or maybe it's some circles, or maybe you just want to hold into a fold over the feet. Using the next few breaths to explore. One more breath wherever you're at. And then we're going to keep our right knee bent and extend the left leg out away from us, toes flexed towards the face. And using our next inhale, let's lift those arms above the head. And with the exhale, we're going to just hinge forward at the hips. So reaching forward with the fingers, but not folding just yet. Our next inhale is going to pull us back out. And with our next exhale, let's take the left hand to the right knee, twisting and reaching those right fingertips forward. Next inhale pulls us back out. We'll continue to move like this with our breath, exhaling down. Inhales lifting, twisting, reaching. Let's find 2 more. And the next time that we are lifted up with the arms above the head, let's use our exhale to allow the spine to round, dropping the hands either onto the leg, the floor, or the foot. Letting the upper body become heavy as we deepen into that left leg. One more breath here. And let your next inhale lift you back out. And we'll twist one last time on the exhale. Using that left hand to pull you deeper into the twist as those right fingertips reach forward. One more full breath. Rising back up with the inhale. And exhaling to drop the hands down by our sides. We're going to take that right hand and plant it on the earth. Fingertips pointed diagonally away from the body. So kind of tracking in line with my shoulder here. And with our next inhale, we're going to lift the hips up from this shape. So coming into a modified wild thing. Nice long line for the left side body. Pressing the hips forward. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly sink back down to the earth and switch our legs. So right leg extending, left folding in. And with our next inhale, arms will lift up. Hinging with the exhale. Lifting with the inhale. Twisting. Left fingertips reaching forward this time. Keeping those arms up by the ears when we hinge forward. Two more. And the next time that we're lifted, let's exhale to round the spine, dropping the arms, deepening into the right leg. One more breath. And rising up with the next inhale. One more twist with the exhale. Last breath. Using the next inhale to rise back up. And exhaling the arms down by our sides, planting left hand this time, those fingertips tracking in line with the shoulder away from the body. And let your next inhale lift you up into a modified wild thing, pressing the hips forward, nice long right side body. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly sink back down and swing those legs underneath so that we can meet in a tabletop position. Wrists under those shoulders, knees under the hips. And just use the next several breaths to explore this shape. Seeing what movement your body might enjoy using tabletop as your foundation. There's so much that we can access from this shape. So really letting your body speak to you. Seeing what it might enjoy. Let's find 2 more breaths of movement. Then we'll meet in a stable table here, drawing the hands back about a full hand length towards the body. We're going to do a little wrist warm up, so making some circles over the wrists. And listening with loving kindness to your body, so not going too deep into the wrists. We're just looking to warm them up a little. Feeling the pressure but avoiding any pain. And let's reverse the direction of our circles. This isn't a super wrist heavy class, it's a really gentle flow, but I just like to include wrist warm-ups at the beginning of all of my flow style classes because it's just so crucial that we pay attention to this joint. The wrists do so much for us in our yoga practice and they deserve to be shown lots of love. Let's come onto the backs of the palms, fingertips pointed toward the knees. I have about a fist distance between my fingers and my knees. And the further that your chest is over the hands, the less intense this will be. So if you want to deepen into the stretch, sink back into the toes. And I have pretty flexible wrists, so do not expect your body to look like mine here. We're just looking for a gentle counter stretch to release. 2 more breaths. And slowly, let's peel the hands up off the mat and find some big circles, letting the wrists move through their full range of motion. Going in both directions, finishing up there. And then you can either rise up onto the knees or sink down over the heels for thunderbolt pose. I'm going to shift so that you can see me better, but you just stay facing the front of your mat. And we're going to bring our fingertips to our shoulders and make some big circles. So maybe envisioning you have paint on your elbows. And we're going to paint the air with some big circles, inhaling the elbows together in front of the body. And exhaling them back and down. 3 more big circles. And then we'll reverse the direction, inhaling to come up the back of the body and exhaling down in front. Last one. And releasing the shoulders, giving them some shakes and some shimmies. And then we're going to meet in a downward facing dog. So planting those hands, stepping the feet back, and lifting the hips. Using the next minute or so to move around in your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exploring movement here, maybe wagging your tail. Keeping those shoulders externally rotated so the inner elbow is shining forward towards the front of your mat. It won't be like fully vertical, but making that move to rotate the shoulder socket and protect the joint. Continuing to explore your movement here for a few more breaths. Last breath. And with our next inhale, let's lift up the right leg. Holding in this 3-legged dog for a moment. One more breath here. And with our next inhale, let's lift up onto those left toes. Exhaling to fold the knee, bringing it under the body and landing the foot in the center of the mat. Inhaling to lift up into a high lunge, arms above the head. Sinking that right femur back into the hip socket and feeling this shape in your body. On our next inhale, really reaching those fingertips up toward the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to pivot to the side, arms wide, legs wide. And with our inhale, we're going to pivot to the back of the mat, high lunge again with the left leg bent. And on the exhale, pivoting to the side. Inhaling back forward. Spreading that loving kindness out in every direction, all around you. Continuing to move with the breath as you spread your loving kindness. And the next time that you are with wide legs and arms, let's use an exhale to send the body down, folding and moving around in your fold here, maybe bending into the knees, swaying back and forth, or even rocking back and forth in the feet. Let's find 2 more breaths in our wide-legged forward fold. Planting the palms on the earth, lifting up halfway on your next inhale. And using the exhale to rebend into the right leg, keeping the chest low. And on our inhale, we're going to lift that right arm up to the sky, twisting as we sink the hips down. One more in-breath. On the out-breath, planting right hand outside the right foot and stepping right leg back into down dog once more. Taking a big sighing exhale. One more breath here in our down dog. I've rotated on my mat so that I don't end up backwards when we do the other side. With our next inhale, let's lift left leg to the sky. Breathing into this shape, shoulders externally rotated. And with the next inhale, lifting onto the right toes. Exhaling to bring that left foot, planting it in the center of the mat. And inhaling up for high lunge. Taking a breath to feel into this shape on the other side. And with our next inhale, really reaching up towards the sky. Exhaling, wide arms, wide legs. And inhaling, high lunge at the back of the mat. Moving a few rounds here with the breath. Last round. The next time that you end up sideways, let's lower back down into our forward fold. And this time, let's plant the left hand in the center underneath the chest, and we'll send right arm underneath the left to grab onto the left calf, creating as much length as you can on the right arm. One more in-breath. Releasing on the out-breath, placing right hand in the center of the mat now as we take left hand to the right shin or calf, and creating length along the left arm for a few breaths here. Last inhale, releasing with the exhale, and walking the hands around back to the front of the mat, rebending into the left leg, right hand in line with the left foot. And with the next inhale, we'll twist, lifting left arm to the sky. Inhaling one more time. Exhaling to plant the left hand and stepping it back, downward facing dog. Open mouth, exhale to let it go. And then let's sink down into a child's pose. Knees can be together or apart, yogi's choice. Letting the breath and the heartbeat slow as we melt into Balasana. Moving into a period of deactivation here. So this is something I incorporate in my flow classes. It's called pendulation, if you're familiar with nervous system work. And pendulating is something that our systems naturally want to do for us, moving through a crest of activation down into a valley of deactivation, oscillating in this manner to keep ourselves safe, to allow ourselves to feel safe in physical movement and in emotional journeys of life. So by incorporating this into our yoga practice, our bodies are able to really deepen into the movement, into the activation, because they feel safe and they know that they can slow down and find rest again. Letting yourself feel held by the earth here as we rest in this shape. And then we'll walk our hands off to the left side of the mat, anchoring into that right palm as we create length in the right side body. And walking the hands back through center, over to the right, anchoring into that left palm to create length on the left. Let's walk those hands back to the center, melting back into Balasana for 2 breaths. And very slowly take your time to press back up into a downward facing dog. 1 breath here. And then we'll travel to the front of our mats, meeting in a forward fold. Enjoying your forward fold for a few breaths, maybe bending the knees or interlacing elbows. Exploring your Uttanasana. I'm going to return back to my original front of the mat. And for this next sequence, if you have yoga blocks, let's grab those and place them shoulder distance apart at the front of the mat. We're going to use them for a warrior 3 prep. So if you know which height you prefer for that, place your blocks there. And if you don't have blocks, it's totally okay. You can use our fingertips when we come into warrior 3 prep, or you can find books or other sturdy props that are about the same height to use for you instead. But I do highly recommend getting blocks just in general if you're practicing. They're just great to have. Letting the ground come up to meet you. So returning to our forward fold. And using the next several breaths to lift up. Meeting in a standing position. And arriving in this shape, breathing up from the feet. Let's step our left foot backwards, planting the foot at a 45-degree angle towards the back of our mat here, bending into the right leg, knee stacked over the ankle. And for our warrior 1, some yogis will tell you to have your heels in line with each other, but especially for women, that does not create a lot of space for our hips. So I encourage making some space for the hips to be able to square. Long left leg. And on our inhale, we're going to lift the arms above the head, finding length. And on the exhale, let's hinge forward at the hips, letting the hands come to the heart space. So we have a nice long line from the back of the left heel to the crown of the head. My hands are covering the heart space here. This is going to be our exhale shape. So on our inhale, we're going to lift the chest back up, spreading the arms out wide. Exhaling back to that shape with the hands over the heart. Spreading loving kindness with the inhale, opening the arms. Folding slightly with the exhale. Let's find 3 more. Giving and receiving loving kindness. And the next time that we have hinged forward here, let's bring those hands down to our blocks, slowly lifting up that left leg, parallel to the earth, keeping the hips squared so we're not lifting into that left hip. We're wanting to keep the pelvis squared here, using the glute to find the lift. If you want to go a little deeper by sending the chest closer to the right leg and lifting left foot into the sky for a standing split, it's an invitation to do so. By no means necessary. One more breath. And then we're going to take the left leg, reach it behind the right leg. So off towards the right side, way off of the mat here. Bending into the right knee so that the left foot can land on the knife edge, so that outer edge of the foot. Then we'll kind of shift onto the knife edge of the right foot as well. You can straighten the knees as much as is comfortable or keep them super bent, yogi's choice. Keeping that right hand on your block, let's inhale the left arm up to the sky. One more inhale. On the exhale, we're gonna lower that left arm back down, and keeping the legs crossed, we're gonna sink down. So my left foot kind of ends up moving a little bit here, but we end up sinking down so that the right foot is outside of the left knee so that we can find a twist. So nice long spine with your inhale. On the exhale, hugging that right leg with the left arm or hooking it outside of the leg, twisting towards the right shoulder. One more in-breath. Unraveling on your out-breath, keeping the right foot planted on the mat, planting the hands down so that we can stretch that left leg back out long and lowering it into what I like to call a low lizard. And massage the legs a little, shifting side to side in your low lizard, just exploring a little movement here. If you can't tell, I really like to incorporate free-form movement in my classes. Just finding a little release from this shape. Let's enjoy 2 more deep breaths in our lizard. And then we're going to shift the hips back, straightening the right leg, bringing those blocks with you if you would like them for our half splits. And try not to really send those hips over to the left. Keep that left hip stacked over the left knee. And I like to have my toes flat on the ground right now so that I find length along the top of my right leg. We've done a lot with our sciatic nerve already in this class, so finding a little bit of the opposing side for my right leg stretch. Let's take 2 more full rounds of breath. And taking those blocks back with us if you brought them as we rebend into the right leg. And we're going to find a quad stretch. So I'm going to keep my left hand on the block as I bend into the left knee. So if this is as deep as your body wants to go, awesome. If you want to take that right hand back around and grab onto the left foot to really go deep with this quad stretch, that is also an option. 2 more breaths here. Very gently release this quad stretch. Placing your block back at the front of the mat. We'll plant both hands down onto the earth, lift onto the left toes, and step our right leg back into a downward facing dog. Let's take 1 breath here. And travel however you'd like to the front of your mat. We'll meet in forward fold again. Using your next in-breath to rise up. And we'll find that same sequence on the other side. So stepping that right foot back this time. 45-degree angle with the foot, creating some space for the hips. And on an inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale to hinge it forward, hands coming to the heart. And we'll give that loving kindness, opening the arms. Exhaling to receive that loving kindness in our own heart. Continuing to move with the breath. Inhaling to give, exhaling to receive. Last one. Let's begin to shift forward, letting the hands find the blocks as the right leg lifts off, parallel to the ground, hips square. If you want to go a little deeper into a standing splits, invitation to do so. And then we'll wrap that right leg behind the left, bending into the left knee as we land on the outer edge of the right foot, and then shifting to come onto the outer edge of the left foot as well. Keeping that left hand on the block or the ground. Let's inhale the right arm up to the sky. Straightening into the knees as much as is comfortable for you. Using an exhale to send right arm back down, and we'll sink down into our twist again, so keeping the legs twisted up. Right foot kind of ends up a little closer to the glute, left foot still planted on the earth. Nice long spine on your inhale. And let's hug that left leg into the chest or hook the right arm outside as we twist towards the left shoulder with our exhales. One more inhale. Exhaling to unravel the body, keeping left foot planted on the earth. Let's bring those hands in line with the left foot as we step right leg back, lowering it down into a low lizard here. And again, finding some free form movement from this shape. Let's enjoy 2 more breaths from our low lizard. And then we'll send the hips back, lengthening through that left leg, bringing the blocks with you if you would like. And again, trying to keep that right hip squared over the right knee. Breathing deeply into the left leg. Last breath here. Let's gently refold the left leg. I'm going to keep my right hand on a block. Bend into the right knee, lifting the right foot. And if this is deep enough for you, then enjoy this shape. If you'd like to take left hand to grab onto the right foot, to pull the foot in towards the body, that's also an option. 3 more breaths wherever you're at. And slowly releasing that right foot back to the earth, moving your blocks off to the side. We'll plant the hands at the top of the mat, curling the right toes under, stepping left foot back into our last downward facing dog of the practice. Taking 2 more deep breaths to enjoy your down dog. And then let's lower down the knees, meeting through tabletop, then shifting back And we're gonna find a shape called 90-90. So I'm gonna bring my right foot forward first. So my right shin is parallel to the top of my mat. My left shin is going to be parallel to the left side of my mat. So I've got a big 90-degree angle with both legs, and you want that right thigh to be the distance of space in between the left knee and the right heel. So I don't want to see this like collapsing inward here. You want enough space so that you've got like tons of 90-degree angles going on. One here in the ankle, one in the knee, one here with the pelvis, again with the knee and the ankle. So here we are. And let's sink back into an internal rotation of the left hip. I like to kind of find some little sways here. Gently rocking into this internal rotation. One more breath. And then we'll slowly push the chest over the right thigh, squaring the chest over the thigh, and melting down to whatever degree is comfortable. So if you want to stay here, or if you want to go all the way down over the right thigh. Let's take one more deep breath here. On the next in-breath, beginning to push yourself back up. And then we're going to take that left foot and bring it in towards the glutes, letting the right foot find the left thigh. Our left hand is going to find the right knee. We're going to inhale the spine long. And on our exhale, we're going to twist towards the right shoulder. One more breath here. Unraveling back to center. And let's pull or lift the left knee up if your pants aren't getting caught. Lift the left knee up, pull the right foot in closer toward the body, and that left leg is going to wrap around on top of the right so we can come into a cow face. So you want your knees, the goal is for the knees to be stacked on top of each other. It's totally okay if yours looks like this or like this. Listen with loving kindness to your body. This is a really deep shape. So you're also welcome to take a block or a pillow and put it under the hips to decrease the intensity for you there. So yogi's choice, choosing whichever depth or representation of this Gomukhasana feels good to you. Let's take a few breaths. Last breath here. And gently unwinding the legs, using the hands to help the left leg back off if you'd like. And then we're going to find 90-90 on the other side. So our left leg is going to be parallel, or left shin parallel to the front of the, or no, that's not what's happening. Left shin is parallel to the left side of the mat still, but we're oriented in a little bit of a different way. So our left foot is forward for this 90-90 now. And we're going to sink back for the internal rotation of the right hip, making sure you have enough space between the right knee and the left heel. And finding some sways here if that felt good the first time. Two more breaths into the internal rotation of the right hip. And slowly lifting up, we'll square the chest over the left thigh and sink down to whatever degree is comfortable for you. One more breath. Pressing into the hands to lift yourself up with your next inhale. And we'll pull that right foot in closer to the glutes. Left foot finding the right thigh. And right hand finding left knee. Inhaling, long spine. Exhaling to twist towards the left shoulder. One more in-breath. Using the out-breath to unravel. And then we'll draw that left foot in closer to the glutes, wrapping right leg up and around, getting comfortable in your version of full cow face here. So if knee is lifted or pretty far over to the right, that's awesome. If you need to bring your block back in, also awesome. Getting comfortable in your body with loving kindness. Settling in for a few deep breaths. One more deep breath into your Gomukhasana. And slowly helping the legs to unravel. And we'll meet on our backs. And for the next few minutes, explore any movements, any last shapes that your body might like before we find our rest. So if that's a happy baby, if that's some rocks into the SI joints, if that's some reclined twists, whatever your body wants to do, take several minutes here to explore. Whatever your body wants to do, take a while here to explore any last releases that you need before we melt into Shavasana. Let's find 3 more breaths in whatever releases your body needs. And as you're ready, extending the legs out long. Finding any wiggles or bringing in any props or blankets, anything you might want to really get comfortable for your Shavasana. Releasing control of the body and the breath. And And for our Shavasana today, the invitation is to be present with the energy of loving kindness. So maybe envisioning that energy living in your heart and breathing into the radiance of your loving kindness with each inhale and exhale. And if the mind begins to wander, as it does, with lots of loving kindness, simply recenter yourself, redirecting the mind and the breath back into the energy that you feel in your heart. And we'll spend several minutes here. Allowing that loving kindness to flow out of your heart and into every cell of your being as you melt down into the earth. Slowly begin to allow some deeper breaths to enter the body. Waking yourself up with as much loving kindness as you can. Slowly finding little wiggles and wake-up movements. And honoring your transition, taking your sweet time. We'll meet in a seat. There's no rush to get there. And whenever your body has arrived in its seat, taking your hands into a loving embrace, holding yourself with loving kindness. And thanking yourself for taking this time to move with loving kindness and to radiate the energy of your heart throughout your being and throughout the world. Giving yourself a squeeze. Thanking your body for the ways that it moves you, heals you, holds you. And taking a breath of gratitude for the earth, for whichever beautiful land that you call home. Breathing in gratitude for the indigenous stewards of the land on which you sit. May we learn to emulate their loving kindness for the earth and walk lighter upon her. Lastly, a breath of gratitude for this practice of yoga, for this wisdom tradition with roots extending back thousands of years and branches that grow for far, far, far into the future. Gratitude for every student like you and like me who contributes their heart to this practice. Let's bring our hands in prayer in front of the body and finish our practice with a prayer for peace. A prayer for peace for ourselves and for the world. It sounds like Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And if you would like to just receive the sound of my voice, that's awesome. If you would like to join me in chanting, let's exhale the air out of our bodies and inhale to chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's been an absolute honor to get to share this practice with you today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping to generate more loving kindness into your life and into the world. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you on the mat again.